It's Dirty Truck, Dirty Truck. And I don't know if y'all remember when I told a story about why I never became a police officer. And that's why I mentioned in that video that I believe that the Detroit police was involved with this. Because when I think back, all the way back to my father when we was a kid and what was happening to my father, this stuff was going on then. They already knew about it. There's some secret shit going on. I don't know. So, I'm going to tell you that wonderful story about how I never became a Detroit police officer. And I'm going to associate it to this this stuff about this stealing my money. And there's an old saying that do unto others what you want done unto you. Do unto others. I might not be saying it right. And then there's another one. You reap what you sow. And the meaning from those is don't do to people what you don't want done to you. And that reap what you sow. That's about it's like in life, what you do can come back on you. That's what that is. So I've been looking at everything that's been happening to me. It's been losing housing, losing jobs, and they've been stealing my money. So get to the story about Detroit police, and then I'm gonna get back into the stealing money thing. Back in 1999, before I got hired at Chrysler, I put in to be a Detroit police officer at the beginning of the year. They had the testing down at what used to be the Coble Hall, which is now Huntington Place. I did the agility test. I passed with a high B. I got to the process where they were supposed to come out to the neighbors and find, talk to the neighbors about you. And then my application got stopped. I went down when the police headquarters is down there by Greektown Casino. And I still remember going in that office, and the guy had already had a letter ready. It was a Caucasian officer. I don't remember his rank, but I went in there, and before I went in there, I was talking to another officer, and he brought up my father's lawsuit. Yeah, they brought up all that. My father sued Detroit police. That was one thing. I'm the daughter of the guy that sued Detroit police. So, and he won. So, they brought up that, and then he brought up the fact that back when I was on welfare, they brought that up. And he said because I owed, he used that as a basis for me not to become an officer. That man got me in that room and told me, he said, you would be the one that if we had a house party raid to steal the money. That's what that officer said. Because I owe the state. Or is that what you were talking about? Is it the state you were talking about? Or is something you already knew about? Possibly maybe my father and the money he left. And who he wanted it to go to. And you out here, they was out here. I couldn't believe he said that to me. This was an officer that was overseeing my application to become an officer. That's why I never became a Detroit police officer. Never. Was pissed. Never. And then, when he said that to me, I couldn't believe it. That was his exact word. He said, you would be the one that if we had a house party raid, you would be the one to steal the money. So, was they letting me know in an early age that when I started banking, my money was going to be stolen? Is that what that conversation was about? Because for the life of me, and I've never had a history of stealing anybody's money. I don't know for the life of me why that Detroit police officer, who was overseeing my application, who stopped my application, would tell me I would be one, if they had a house party raid, to steal the money. I couldn't believe it. I was pissed. Not long after that, a friend of mine that was telling me about how to get in at Chrysler, that you had to go down to It was an employment place, downtown Detroit. And you had to get down there. Matter of fact, I called. And the lady said they were putting in an application. You had to get down there today. I went and put in an application. Went through the process. Actually went out to one of the plants. I forgot which one. I don't know if it was one truck plant or not. But they had us all in a room. And they told us that if we didn't hear from them in, I don't know if it was 30 or 60 days, that they had hired everybody. Now, this was in 99, the beginning of the year. And I forgot, I think, what date it was, what month it was, if we hadn't heard from anybody. So that date, evidently, that date it came and went. So I said, well, I guess I ain't get in. Then I'm at Smart on my, I'm back in the terminal, and I get a page. I called a number from the payphone in the plant, in the terminal. I'm standing outside the door because I didn't want them to hear my conversation. And they said this was Chrysler, and they was offering me employment and told me if I say no, they'll never call me again. So I didn't say no. And they told me when they needed me to show up. Matter of fact, that was the year I had scheduled a birthday party. And when I had to go down there, I think the birthday party was the next day or the next day or something like that, because I got hired in the day before my birthday. That's how I keep memory of my seniority date. My birthday is August 7th, 1970. I got hired in August 6th. So, that's how I got in Chrysler. And that's how I didn't become a Detroit police officer. Right now, I'll probably be a high-ranking detective. I probably would have crossed out of the day field of work and went on to be something great, one of the greatest investigators ever, if I'd have got in there. But they didn't hire me because I owed the state. And who don't owe people? But I didn't know that was going to stop me from being a police officer. I'm like, my God, you need money to get this straight taken out. Give people a chance to get themselves straight. They're going to stop somebody with my mentality about law enforcement and rights and justice. And back then, it wasn't even as serious as I am now. You going to stop somebody like me from being an officer. Now I know why. Because I'm being intertwined and mingling in with corruption and shit people want to keep hid. Okay, well, thank you for not putting me in there. But I regret this decision. Leave Smart to go to Chrysler. Because if I'd have known this would have happened to me, I'd have never went to that motherfucker place. But that's how I didn't become a Detroit police officer. And I get pissed when I see officers around me. I get pissed that I could have been an officer. Back in 99. I could have been a lot of things. I could have been a real estate agent in 05 when that shit happened to me at Chrysler. And I resigned. I just got in that apartment. But for some reason, I kept missing one answer on that goddamn test, which was in the Michigan laws and rules for the real estate agent license test. And it got to the point where I had taken the test so much that you had to pay $40-something every time you retook the test. And I had already had a real estate agent ready to pick me up, was going to give me an advance, was going to have me working with another agent to show me how to do housewarming parties, open houses, and all that. She said, when you get your license, come back. I have you already set up. The office in Southfield. Nice lady. Then I had to call her back and tell her I didn't pass it. And I just let it go. Because by then, I'm spending up money, and I don't have a job. I was living off that $25,000. But their computer kept saying I missed one question. Just like what happened with DOT. I put in for DOT, and I believe that was 09 or something like that. I was in a shelter. I was in Cott's shelter on Peterborough. And this is back when DOT had that big hire. Dave Bing was mayor of Detroit then. I was one of the ones standing in line when they had that news story. I went in, got an application, started my process. Went in, took the test. What happened? They, oh, I'm jumping parts. They, a letter that came from DOT, as far as employment, was mailed to the shelter. I never got it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dang, I should be hearing something from them by now. So I decided to go down to City County building. And the lady actually had looked up on the computer the date she mailed it out. I said, well, I didn't get it. So they sent out another one. So after they sent the next one out, I went down there and took the test. Test was all damn near math. Why is math on a bus driver's test? So, and I'm pro at math. So, I took the test. The next thing I get a letter from DOT telling me I didn't pass the test. The test was damn near all math. It was math. That's all, man. We adding up shit. Why are we adding up shit on a DOT test. We don't calculate on a damn bus. What the fuck? We don't even handle the fare. You got a box for that. So, I knew something was wrong because I'm a pro at math. That was my favorite subject. You failed me in my favorite subject, we know something wrong. So, I went down there and I told her to pull my test. So, she pulled my test. And then she went and got the answer sheet, which was this little plastic thing with the holes in it. And she laid it on top of my test. And the first 3 answers, this is a true story, the first 3 answers that they had marked, said was wrong, were right. I said, why would they do something like that? She said, well, at this point, now we got to send it upstairs to have them recheck this and blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. But by then, Dave being the current mayor at the time, had put a hiring freeze on DOT drivers. That was back in 2009. Every situation that I've had to try to better myself, somebody has prevented. Somebody lied and said I didn't pass the test, just like I believe they did that with the real estate agent license. You know, I would have been a real estate agent back in 2005. I have 20 years under my belt. You know what kind of lifestyle I would have right now? What kind of lifestyle my son would have had? Where we would be living? Oh my God. His access to housing, to get housing, to buy housing, with my knowledge, because I'm a real estate agent, probably would have been broker by now, would have maybe had my own real estate agency. You see what they do over the years? This has been going on for years, preventing me from elevating myself, preventing me. And this is all after Chrysler. All after Chrysler. Everything I tried to do. Even down to present day, trying to sell stuff on social media. They've been on my social media. They in my phone. They blocking shit. They even stopped the motherfucking GoFundMe. Can you believe that? So there you have it. So I'm constantly being stolen from. And this is stemming from what? Because I wasn't a thief. And I never stole anybody's money. So that old saying, what goes around comes around, don't fucking apply to me, because I wasn't a thief. I ain't never stole nobody's goddamn money. So why the hell was they stealing my money out the bank? Why the hell you try to make me look like I was a goddamn thief? Why the hell would he say that shit, that I would be one to steal the money? And why is all this stealing happening with my money? Oh, one more damn thing. I was at Comerica Bank. This is my 20s. Just getting into banking. I end up at Comerica Bank over there off of D. Quinder. Never forget it. Had an account there. And the lady pulls up. Oh, we got another Juanita Morgan here. Another lady with the exact same name as me. Now, I don't remember if she had the exact same middle name or if I even used my middle name. But she had the exact same name as me. And this lady lived out in the suburbs. And I remember that teller saying, well, let me make sure I'm not pulling from the wrong account, her account. And I think I was either making a deposit or withdrawal. I said, it's 2 Juanita Morgans here? She said, that was odd. 2 Juanita Morgans here. Oops. 2 Juanita Morgans here at the same bank. Years later, when I was out there in New Baltimore, an apartment I had to walk away from because my job situation happened, and I just walked away from it. I just told them I could leave. I just cleared it out and gave them the keys. But while I was there, I had Comcast. And I think I had some trouble with the Comcast, or either they was going to do an install or whatever. But the man on the phone mentioned, I told her he seen my name. Oh, that's my mother's name. I said, yeah, you know, I got a funny story about that. I remember I was at Comerica Bank, and they said there was another lady named there with my name. It's Juanita Morgan. And he said, that's my mother's name. And she told me that story, that there was somebody else at her bank with the same name as her. This guy worked for Comcast. Now, you remember when I had the theft at Huntington Bank, somebody paid Comcast. I believe this stealing has to do with the white version of my name and her son. This lady lived in the suburbs. She was a Caucasian. It wasn't me, but she had the same name as me. And this guy, what a coincidence, I end up talking to her son on the phone to find out he works for Comcast. And that money theft that was going on in my bank when they stole that $580 on that 3-day spending spree, one of the payments was to Comcast. I believe this guy and that other Juanita Morgan, whoever she is If they find out who they are, then they find out who behind the stealing. Uber stealing from me. I believe they had some involvement with the stealing. All I know, that was strange. I end up getting in contact with her son, and he remembers the story because his mother told it to him. Really? So you mean tell me your mother went in the bank and the bank said, yeah, we got another Juanita Morgan here too. And they told you about me. Like the bank told me about her. So it seems like I got an imposter version of me that's of another color. And I don't know what else you've done. But all I know, there was another Juanita Morgan at Comerica Bank. And then there's a site where you have unclaimed property. My name was on it. People kept notifying me my name was on it. Every time I contacted them when I was still working for Chrysler. They told it wasn't me. I found all old addresses. I used my son, every social security number I could remember. My son's, my father's, all that. I believe they changed the information to make it look like it wasn't me. Like they've been doing with every damn thing else. I believe that money was mine because I did have an account at Comerica Bank and my father had an account at Comerica Bank. My father always had an account in his kid's name. His, mine, and my sister's. So, in unclaimed property with my name, I hadn't checked recently, but somebody sent me a message through my writer site that I have unclaimed property. So it's still on there. But when I contacted them, that office directly, I got them on the phone. They said this person is dead. And they waiting for the family members to claim the property. You ain't did it in over this damn near 20 years. Now, I just recently, not too long ago, I think I want to say within the last year, somebody notified me I had unclaimed property. This was somebody on my YouTube checking unclaimed property. I was told it wasn't mine. But I know for a fact I had a bank account with Comerica because that was my bank when I was at Warren Truck Plant. I know for a fact my deceased father had a bank account at Comerica Bank. So, who the money belong to? How many goddamn Juanita Morgans is it in this damn state? And how many of them end up at the same bank? 2 Juanita Morgans at the same bank? No. Did you give somebody my money? You withheld my money? Did you switch information so I couldn't get my money? Or you deciding you going to pick a day when you going to get my money? When I'm like, what, 9 toes at the grave? Is that what you think you're going to do? That's why y'all been telling people don't help me. Don't give me no money. She don't need no money. She lying. Where did you get that from? Where did you get that I'm a liar from? So that's my true story. And I hope that Gina make a video about this. Because I'm coming for your ass for talking about my shit. I got a criminal justice degree, bitch. Don't fuck with me.